we saw there was a constituency of folks who really wanted a voice. Parents were peering into the classroom, and they did not like what was being taught. You saw what they were doing with women's sports, giving biological men the opportunity to take opportunities from women in athletics. And it's one thing when your policies come after us as mamas. It's another thing when your policies come after our children. And that's when the claws come out.
Florida First Lady Casey DeSantis stumps with Iowa moms, touting her husband as the champion of parental rights. Her first solo appearance comes as the media takes notice of her impact on the campaign trail, calling her the humanizer-in-chief. Here with reaction, Save Women's Sports activist, advisor at Independent Women's Forum, and DeSantis campaign surrogate Riley Gaines. Riley, good morning to you.
Good morning, Carly.
So Casey DeSantis is certainly in the spotlight right now. How important do you think she is to Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign?
I think she's huge. Having a woman, a mom in particular, be a part of your campaign, campaigning for women and children and parental rights. If there's one thing, and I've learned this from my own experience, there's nothing more fearing than an angry mama bear. And she's mobilizing those mama bears. I think nothing makes you see the world more differently than when you become a parent. And these parents, they're ready to roll up their sleeves and say enough is enough.
Yeah, she is beautiful. She's personable. She's very comfortable in front of the camera. She used to be in TV news, so she does seem to have a lot of things that could help a presidential campaign. The New York Times, we just showed the headline, called her the humanizer-in-chief. And the insinuation there is that Ron DeSantis is having a tougher time than some might have even expected, connecting with voters. What's your response to that?
The way he's handled the cultural issues that plague America, that speaks for itself. How he was so well loved in Florida, what he's done there, it speaks for itself. So the cheap shots, notice how they're cheap shots to him as a person. It's not cheap shots to his policies. It's not cheap shots to what he plans to do when he's in office. It's cheap shots to him as a person. It's personal attacks. And this is something I've experienced in my position and what I've been fighting for. When they have nothing else against you, they will throw labels your way. They will call you names that aren't true.
You know, Riley, I think a lot of the GOP candidates agree on the issue of biological men in women's sports. So what is it specifically about Ron DeSantis that made you support him enough to want to become a campaign surrogate?
What it was for me, and I remember in particular after our NCAA championships in March of 2022, in the 500 freestyle, this is where Leah Thomas, again, formerly Will Thomas, biological man, won the national title on the 500 free. The runner-up, who was the real national champion, her name is Emma Wyatt, and she's from Sarasota, Florida. Governor DeSantis honored her, I think through an appeal, as the national champion in the state of Florida. And I thought that was so powerful. And he was really the first person with political power to send a message that we are not having this. This is a violation to women and our rights to privacy and safety and fairness in our sports. And since then, of course, as he's continued on, Florida is one of the first states to pass the Fairness in Women's Sports bill, with him being an integral part in that. And so, again, how he's handled the cultural issues that Americans and moms care about, that's how he's garnered my support.
Riley, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.